This is Maat Atuntat Rayaytat. Most people just call me Maat. That's what I prefer.
Okay. So yeah, what's your take on the subject line that we got today involving the sisters' communication with each other and just in general, black women across the globe in general?
Um, there's many ways that I could go with this, but I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible. I feel like the communication between women is poor because of our upbringing. And
Mm,
for some, it's their environment. Some of us have not been taught proper communication. And as easy as that may seem, it's not that easy.
wow.
So to me, I feel like I'm going to use myself as an example. I haven't always had the best communications and the best relationships with women. And I don't think it's because I don't like women of my, of my gender. I just think it's that when you're in certain environments growing up, sometimes that can impact your female relationships. And it can start very much well in the home, even with having a relationship with your mom or even your
Wow.
dad. So, me personally, I grew up with sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had to share a lot.
Mm,
And my mom had five girls. So we was forced to have some form of relationship with each other.
right.
We had to do stuff together. So I think all women are different, but on a larger scale, I think that a lot of it just comes from not knowing how to communicate. Like I was
Mm,
saying before, it's not something that's easy to do if you're not taught proper communication.
right.
So that's very broad. And for some women, all women are not good at speaking. Even with relationships with men, we have problems with doing that because, like I
Mm,
said, upbringing and our environment and us just not having being taught proper communication. So I think for some women, it's not that they don't want to communicate with each other. With each other, I just think that they just don't know how. And
wow.
it's it's a very complicated, complex topic that you can't just put in one bubble.
Right.
If I'm making sense. So
Absolutely.
I think the first thing is to just go back to what communication is and what it entails. What
Mm,
does communication entail? And I think that it starts really of how you see yourself, and then it comes. You got to have some form of confidence as well,
right.
because in order for me to communicate with you, I have to have some form of confidence in myself. I have to feel comfortable with speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a form of trust as well. I think that plays a part in with the communication with each other as women. I feel like most women who trust other women, they are better communicators. They're able to
Mm,
tell, that sister how they feel. But if we don't make another sister feel comfortable, or we're not comfortable within ourselves, then we're not going to have good communication. So just having comfortability and confidence first
mm.
is a big part of proper communication, and that's just how I see it. And that's how I feel just based off my experiences with talking to men, talking to women. That's what I see.
Mm.
Just a lack of confidence in oneself.
Powerful. That's powerful. You wow. Yeah, you hit that right on the nail. That's powerful. So you saying comfort, a person has to be comfortable and a person should definitely have some level of trust.
Yes, definitely level of trust because, even with trust is very broad, but it could be very simple
Right.
as well. And we don't realize that trusting someone plays a big part in how we talk to them. Because me personally, I can talk all day, but there's a different frequency that comes out when I trust someone.
Mm.
And that
Okay.
the person that's receiving me makes me feel comfortable to talk to them. Then now I feel more confident And it's kind of like sending and receiving frequency. It's like you give me positivity, I give it to you back. And I think that plays a part in communication as well. So, like I said before, it's a very broad topic. You can slice it up in so many ways. It's a conversation that is ongoing every day because it's constantly changing. But just the basis of it, it just starts with comfort in oneself and just relearning the basics of what proper communication is. And it does start with comfortability and trust.
Wow. Now, you said a lot of women are not taught how to communicate. Now, that's powerful right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm one of those women, growing up, we didn't have communication classes or, okay, like for example, I was in Girl Scouts growing up and we did a lot together, but just having and they built trust, they built confidence. So some of those things kind of helped me stay grounded in just knowing what sisterhood was and trust. So I will say it did help guide me in certain aspects of my life when dealing with women. And then my experience with my sister. So that's just for me, though. But it's some women that wasn't fortunate to be in sister groups and things like that. So if we're talking about those group of women and they're growing up and they don't have their mom or dad or they're not in a setting where they're learning about expressing themselves or trusting one another or just communicating with each other, then they're going to grow up. They could grow up being bitter. And I think even with men and women relationships, it fails so quickly because neither one of them want to talk. And I don't think it's that they don't love each other. I just think it's more so they haven't reached a level of confidence within themselves or feeling comfortable to express themselves.
Now, we definitely got to get you back on the topic of relationships between the male and the female, the feminine and the masculine. But you tell me before you go, what in your experiences, what do you find yourself having to, being that a lot of women are not educated on how to communicate, do you find yourself having to educate other sisters?
Yes, sometimes. I wasn't always outspoken, but through years of experience and learning new things, it has caused me to be more confident in myself. And I had to learn that. And it took a lot of practice. And once you're practicing something for so long, you eventually master it. So I'm not going to say I'm a master of communication, but in certain aspects of my personality and my identity, I feel like I have reached a level of mastery, if that makes sense. So when I'm talking to women, I do feel more confident now in my life to give them guidance than I ever have before. So that's one thing that I feel like I do well, and I think that's the reason why a lot of women, our sisters, are drawn to me because I'm very honest, and I feel like they know that I'm gonna give them a real answer, or more so a real response.
So your honesty,
to whatever it is they're feeling, yeah.
Your honesty is what leads up to being trusted.
Yes.
And the trust,
just being authentic.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So the trust allows them to feel comfortable, thus they're communicating with you.
Yes, and communication comes with listening. So I listen a lot. I listen for a long time, depending on the female, and based off my response to them, they'll know if I was listening or not.
Right.
And most of them leave our conversation feeling better than how they came.
Now, do you feel that it's your responsibility to actually communicate on that level where you're going into a conversation as an educator, as a teacher, as a big sister figure?
Yes. I used to not feel that way, but I've grown mentally and spiritually. So I do feel like that's one of my purposes here. on this planet, I feel like I've got in tune with that because I've practiced working on myself for so many years and experienced different things where I feel like, yes, it is my responsibility because we're all the same as far as we're all women.
Right.
And a lot of us go through the same things.
Right.
It may be shaped a little bit different, but it's very similar. So one would think that we would be much closer than we are. And originally I feel like we were. But, life and, being in different environments and things like that have caused us to change the way we see things. And it's numerous of things that have shaped women now, especially Black women, to where we don't look at each other as really being the same or feeling like we're responsible for each other, but we really are.
Right.
That's like if I have something to give, I can't. It's not just for me.
Right.
Because to me, that's not how nature works. Nature is not just like, oh, this is for me. Nature has to share it.
Right.
For all. So it's not fair for me to reach a certain level in my life and not share it.
Right.
So to some form or degree, all women should be humanitarians to one another.
Now that's heavy right there. That is heavy right there. So in reality, you're saying that all women should have that level, some level of responsibility towards themselves, towards nature. Even if you don't have children, you kind of can be mothering each other.
Exactly. And I feel like if we gave each other the attention and love that we do with males, I think that we could move forward.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like there needs to be a love of self as far as gender.
Absolutely. And I don't think that we really understand what self-love is. You have a lot of people saying it now, but I don't think they really know, not all of them, but I don't think they really know what that really means. Because once you start to love yourself, everybody around you looks different.
Wow.
They start to change. You start to see their true essence. So you're able to connect and speak with them on a different level. So everyone has to dig inside of themselves and find that true love for self. That's the only way you're going to be able to connect with someone else. It's the only way.
True love of self.
And you have to practice it every day. You have to practice it every day, even if that means putting yourself in environments that you wasn't in before. But if they are good environments, because your environment does play a part. It plays a part in how you build your morals. Like, we all should have morals. This is one thing that I teach my daughter is, like even today, school is out, and I said, I want you to write a letter to yourself. And she was looking at me like, what? Why do I have to do that? And I'm like, because it's important for you to just talk to yourself on paper. Tell yourself what you like about yourself.
Wow.
And she did it. But these are the things that is taken as corny, but these are things that actually help.
Well, yeah, the moral compass of individuals is always looked at as something to not so fashionable, or in style, But
absolutely,
it's good to know that your daughter is being taught how to communicate. That is a beautiful thing to hear. That is a beautiful thing to know. And who would you credit? I mean, I'm sure there's more than one individual, but who would you credit? You said environment. So has the environment played a major part in, your level of education?
Absolutely. My environment, those I've chosen to put myself around, books I've decided to read. So it's all kind of things that have groomed me, and it's not just from women. And I've been groomed by some males as well. So I've got some good confidence, and I've had men in my life that were very positive. And I think for women, that's important as well, to have men that want to see them do well.
Wow. Yeah. So wow.
We need both energy.
Absolutely. Men have a man in your corner, or men in your corner, who actually support the love of self, sisterhood. Men should be supporting sisterhood. Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. And if they do that, they will see a difference. They will definitely see a difference. But I think too, men need healing as well. And sometimes some men can be very vague because they did not get the proper healing. And vagueness comes from not getting proper healing and being taught properly. Your responses, your communication are vague. So the more love you have, the more vivid you become in your reality.
Right. Well, actually, you hit that one right on the nose, and that's actually the whole agenda. With what we're doing with the podcast, we actually feel like we need to just try to get people to communicate and express. And it starts with just people expressing how they feel, sharing their experiences with each other, and hopefully this thing goes way beyond anything that we anticipated. It's actually a beautiful thing to hear you express yourself. I have done a few interviews so far, had a few conversations, and I haven't had anyone be ignorant, but you are definitely one of the sisters who were very articulate and excuse me, knows what she knows what she wants, and knows what she knows where she's coming from, and knows where she is. So I think that is definitely a powerful thing, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you for allowing us to share your thoughts and your feelings on this topic. Sisters definitely need to find themselves in a better environment, if not already. Allow themselves to be educated on how to communicate with each other. And you hit some really, really, really key notes. And I definitely want to reach back out to you so we can bring you in on a segment of relationships between the masculine and the feminine. Sister Maat, is there any other thing before we get out of here that you wanted to express to any of the sisters? Black women in general.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your energy. I appreciate you allowing me to speak, and just reaching out to me and showing me that divine love. It means a lot, so that's first and foremost. Secondly, before we end it, something I would say to the sisters worldwide, more so Black women, African women, is that the only way to move forward is with love of self. That's the only way to move forward. And it starts with self. I mean, I could say a whole paragraph, but I think that right there is the most important to me. Love for self.
No doubt. And you hearing it right here live, WNT9 Radio with Sister Maat. We talking about love of self, sisters, love of self. And make sure if you got a man, that man is definitely in support of love of self. You being happy with you first. Again, thank you, sis, and wishing you a peaceful and a blissful day. We're gonna call you back. We definitely calling you back on that other topic because you hit some key notes. But thank you again. We're gonna go ahead and move forward. Always good talking to the sisters. So if you know any sisters, you could definitely encourage them to call in and speak to us on this topic right here. We feel that it is urgent to build on this topic before we get into the topics of having relationships with the masculine. So definitely again, Beautiful, sis. I appreciate you.
Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. You too.
All right.
WNT9 Talk Radio.